I got to work on something every day to be the best version of myself. Like I cannot afford to not work to be better. Like I can't do that. Right? I don't have that luxury. Like, boy, get your butt up and go to work. Go to work, man. Figure it out.
What is up, Impact Heroes? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Rick Ornelas. Thank you for spending some time with us today because we know time's a valuable resource and we're going to make it worth your while. I appreciate each and every one of you, not just for listening, but for who you are. I know you're sparking change to make the world a better place every day, and I am humbled and grateful for your efforts. It takes all of us doing our part to spread positive change, and that's what this show is all about. Motivating you with stories of struggle, courage, and hope to empower you to make a difference in your life and the lives of others.
In case you missed it,
tomorrow is always uncertain, and when things start changing fast, it becomes even more so. To bring it back to our brain just one last time, we don't actually react to things straight in front of us. We react to situations which we're anticipating. So we're actually anticipating tomorrow.
Available everywhere you listen to your podcasts.
Welcome back, Impact Heroes. Today we have the super special episode as I am here with my latest iSpark Change social impact hero, and he is in the studio. Look at that. In this beautiful studio we have going on here. So here's a little background on him. He has been a teacher and coach for over 20 years and is a fourth generation educator. He's dynamic, informative, and enthusiastic as he interviews people from all walks of life for positive inspiration and motivation. He's a best-selling author of, get this, 11 books. I've only written one, people, but I am working on a second one. He's written 11 books. He's also a transformational speaker that helps audiences to open up to view different areas of themselves, to learn, grow, and improve their communication. He's a YouTuber, a podcaster, and a life coach that will keep you coming back for more wisdom again and again. He's just an all-around great human being and someone who truly cares about helping others become the best version of themselves. Please welcome the inspiring, motivating host of the Success Chronicles, Chip Baker. Chip.
What's going on?
Welcome to the iSpark Change Podcast. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks so much for having me. I consider it an honor and a privilege to be here with you to hang out. I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It is an honor and a privilege. And especially like what I said in the intro, in that this is in person. And this is only the second time that I've had an interview in person on this podcast. The other one being Sophie Barron in New York City. So go check that out if you haven't watched it. But Chip and I happen to live not too far apart from each other. So we said, why not do this one in person? Yeah, why not do it in person? So we got the mics. Hopefully everything works out fine. So Chip, as you know, when we met, and my good friend Daniel Gomez, he was another one on the podcast. So go back and listen to his episode. But he was good enough to connect us, and he said, you know what, you two guys are going to really appreciate one another. You're working on similar things. You're really going to resonate with one another. And, God willing, he was right. So I knew right away when we started talking that you'd be a good social impact hero.
Thank you.
And, saying that, I can see the humility in your face of me calling you a social impact hero. So that's the first question I have for everybody on this show is, our theme is about being impactful heroes, right? So my first question is, we see you as someone that is making the world a better place, that's spreading positive change and impacting others in a positive way. So my question to you, Chip, is, do you see yourself as a hero?
I think hero is a big word. I definitely feel that, because my goal each moment of each day is to make a positive impact, influence in such a manner that I make a positive impact on everyone that I'm blessed to come in contact with. And so when you throw in the word hero, I think somebody else can say that, but I don't see myself saying, yeah, I'm a hero. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to me.
I get it.
And so I think there are people that I've been blessed to be in their life that would say that.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that. But I don't know that I call myself a hero.
Okay, but are you okay with me calling you a hero?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
sure.
all right.
Let's get it.
Okay, that's cool then. Then we'll go with that. That you're okay with me calling you a hero, because, and we'll go through this on the throughout the episode, but a hero is an acronym for us, where, and we'll go through the different components, where you honor your purpose and you engage others in your mission and your message that you share, you ripple that out to spread positive change, and that you open your heart, to others. So by that definition,
I'll own that. Rick.
Okay, good. Because from what I've seen,
when you
do
put
that
it like that, I own that. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I want to know, Chip, is every hero has an origin story, right?
Yeah.
The story of how they got to doing the work that they're doing and how they got on the path that they're on. So I'd like you to share with our audience to start out. How did you get interested in, the work you're doing, to being positive, impacting them in a positive way, and just everything, podcast or your YouTube channel, all that stuff?
So, I'm a journey guy. And so I'll just share a little bit about my journey. I am Chip Baker. And I always start with this because this brings me great pride, because, fast forward now, I'm striving to do things to make my family proud. So I always start with, I'm a fourth generation educator, teacher, former coach, blessed and fortunate to be raised by some great people, as well as be around some awesome folks to learn from in my career. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm a product of a whole lot of people loving me. I've taken my environments, my experiences, my relationships, my actions throughout my life, and I've put those all together, and it's made me the sum total of who I am today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love your answer, because there's, and I said this just a few minutes ago, there's a lot of humility in your answer, that you're giving grace to others in helping helping you to become the person that you are. And I think a lot of people miss that. A lot of people in today's world, right? They want to show, they want to flex, to use the term that people use these days. I'm still learning all these things. I'm old, but they, they want to flex, they want to show off, they want to have all the material things. They want all that stuff. And, but we're all a product of our, of society. We're all a product of our upbringing. We're all a product of the individuals that we've interacted with.
Yes.
And it's so easy to understand, right, when you explain it that way. But I think so many people, they just miss that. They don't really think about it. They don't want to be like, I know for me, and now my wife says I'm getting more like my dad, right, as I'm getting older. And, my wife and I have been together 30 years. And so, long time, right, from when we were just really young. So you're like, oh, I don't want to be my parents. I don't want to turn into my parents. There's even those funny commercials where, talk about you can become your parents. But that's who we are, right? We're people who created us.
Yeah. And it's crazy, because I was just sharing this with my family the other day. Some family members, like, I look at like features of my hands or like body, and I remember as a kid looking at them, just like thinking now, like I look like them,
Yes.
Some of the same traits, just like you said, the beliefs, all of those things. But I'm truly grateful to have had great people in my life.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny you say like the traits, because my wife and I were just having this conversation the other day, because we just celebrated our 27th anniversary just a couple weeks ago. Thank you. And we've been together for 30 years almost, as I was saying. And we talked about how we are at the age of her parents when we met. Like, her parents were our age now when we met. And that's like, they were so old, right? We were like, they were so old when we met. Like, that's not accurate. Like, how could that be true? And then we look at it and we do the math and we're like, oh no, they were like at our age now, like in our early 50s. And I mean, maybe a couple years older, but still right around there. And we think, oh no, we're so much younger, we're so different, but there's so many similarities, like you said, there's so many similarities. And I really see those as blessings that, all these people have blessed us in one way or another. So I want to talk about some of the ways that you bless people, because I know you bless people in a lot of different ways. when I was digging into your work, one thing I was seeing is that the word everyone used is inspiring. The word everyone, I mean, like almost to a T, they all use the word inspiring, motivating, you know, different things like that. So where do you think, you know, that comes from? And take a little credit yourself, but how do you think, you know, you've grown to be so inspiring for others?
And I don't know, it made me smile just to hear you say that. Because in what I do, man, I just want to put the work in. Like all of that other stuff, like I don't know about the glitz and glamour. Like, man, I just want to put my head down and go to work. And I've always been that kind of guy. I'll let the results speak for itself.
Yeah.
And so to hear you say those things, it makes me very happy to hear that, because that's what I aspire to do. Like I want to be the example. Like I want, you know, people around me to say, hey, you know, this is how you should treat people. This is what, you know, check out Chip. You know, this is, if you want to highlight others, check out how he does that. Mm-hmm. Like I strive to be the example. And when we have examples in our life, it shows us that great things are possible. And yes. I'll go back to, like I said at the beginning, when I said I've been blessed to have great people around me. Mm-hmm. And I've had great people around me to see some good examples. I've also had some examples to see, hey, don't do that. You know, so I've had those too. Yes. Right. And so I've chosen to just strive to be the example. And that's what it's about for me. I work really hard on doing that, and I'm glad that somebody notices. Okay,
good. The word that comes to mind, Chip, is leadership. Yeah. The word that comes to mind is leadership, because it's leadership not on your part, like leading by example, but also the leaderships that others showed to you. So, so I know in your background, like you were a coach, you were an athlete. Mm-hmm. So tell me, where do you think that like that leading by example comes from? Does it come from, you said you always had it, right? But did it come from, you know, your time as an athlete, or where'd that come from?
No, it's definitely developed. You know, like I don't think we're born leaders. I mean, we come from leaders, and we're born in environments where we have leaders that guide us. Yeah, like I was. Yeah. But I have to choose to be led. I have to choose to learn how to be a leader. Yes. I have to choose to be aware, to say, hey, yeah, this is good, do that. Hey, this is bad, don't do that. You know, I have to choose that, mm-hmm. right? And so I think, you know, one thing, I was raised with some great people, leaders. As an athlete, you know, for a long time, because I'm really an introverted guy. Mm-hmm. I can see that. And so, you know, like all of that, like I'd rather just show you by my actions. Yeah. But as I grew and got comfortable, I saw that, you know, there's some people that are younger than me, or people that I come in contact with, they need to know about some of the things that I've experienced, because if I can tell them, hey, I did this and I messed it up, and so I want to share it with you so that you can move more efficiently and effectively, mm-hmm. well, then, yeah, that makes me a leader. Yeah. Right. But just by sharing the things that I've gone through, because I'm leading them through their path efficiently and effectively. Yeah. And that's what it's about for me, just striving to help others, striving to serve others. But yeah, I truly think it's developed. And, you know, I've got it from my family. I got it from my environment, the great people I've been around, and definitely through sports, because that's something that you learn.
Yeah, and I think that's something that probably why we connected mm-hmm. well when we first met. I think that's something that we have in common, is that we've both had leaders to guide us. We both had sports when we were younger to, you know, help develop those skills. We both have put in the work and not just, you know, saying, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, be who I am and that's it. But, you know, you got to learn and grow. Yeah, we got to be intentional about it. Yeah. And then something that stood out was that when you were responding right now, Chip, was that when you said it was definitely developed, you're right. And I was asking the question, and you were like ready to answer it. You were ready to answer the question, because what I was getting is that you've worked on it a lot.
Oh, man, it's intentional.
Yes, that you have. It's not just, kind of blasé, like, oh yeah, I read this book here or there or whatever, but you're really working on it a lot and trying to become better, right? Trying to become a better version of Chip.
Yes, I believe that discipline determines destiny.
Ooh, I like that.
Come on, Ray.
Take note on that. Discipline determines destiny.
I'm gonna give you that one again. Discipline determines destiny. And like you said, yes, I'm intentional about the things that I do each moment of each day. Like money, they print money, right? So we can do things to get money. But time, you can't get that back.
Nope.
And so like this moment of this day, we'll never get it again. So it's important for me to make sure that I'm in the moment, right? Because magic moments make magic memories.
Ooh, that's another good one.
Come on.
That's a good one.
Come on. And so it's important to be intentional in those moments so that when you look back on it, you're proud of what you did in those moments. And just like you said, when you're asking the question, I was ready to shoot.
Yes.
because I know without a shadow of a doubt, man, I've been intentional in my life. And I'm truly proud to have been disciplined and made the choices to do things the right way throughout my life. No regrets.
Yeah, I love that about magic moments.
Magic moments. Memories.
Make magic memories. So so again, I want to take back to I love finding where this comes from. That discipline. So I know for me, my father was extremely disciplined. He was a disciplinarian. I mean, I was the youngest of five. Like everything was very rigid and very disciplined, and I got that trait from him, right? And I consider that a blessing that
Yes.
I did learn that when I was little, probably not so much, but then older, it's like, no, that is truly a gift. That is truly a gift because so many people, they just kind of roll with the winds and the tides and they have no discipline and then they don't end up anywhere, right? That they're just aimless. And to have that discipline is truly a blessing. So who were some of the role models that you learned that discipline from or how that was fostered in you?
In my house, I tell people this, I was raised by a superhero, by my mother. My mother was my superhero. And so in my house, like my mama was a strict disciplinarian too. And my mama didn't play. Like the same thing. Boy, you gonna do, boy, you better, and she know my name. She called me boy. Right. She gave me my name, Rick. Like I know you know my name. You gave me my name. Boy, you better, But yeah, strict disciplinarian. And like as growing up, you don't understand that it's a blessing to have that. Yeah. You just look at it, me, mama tripping, those kind of things. Why is she, like I wasn't a kid that got in trouble. Like, why is she always on? Like it's a direct correlation. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But, and I'll share this with you. I heard this the other day, disciplines runs in packs.
Yeah, it's true.
And so like when you can learn to be disciplined in one area of your life via sports, via at home, via wherever that is on your job, when you can learn to do that in one area, like it's infectious and contagious and it grows to other areas in your life. And it allows you to be, and you'll understand this because you've done this your life too. It allows you to be great at everything you do because it allows you to wear many hats, but you're always hyper-focused and aware of what you're doing because you're intentional, right? Which bears great fruit on the other end of that.
Yeah. That's another thing that I think those that aren't disciplined, they don't understand. They don't get that. Right. They don't get that because I've had people tell me, about, oh, you're too rigid or you're too this or, the discipline with the structure and everything. Yeah. And I'm all right with that. I am too. I am too. And, my wife, my kids, they've come to accept that because with that, I know that some of the disciplines, like I, eat pretty clean, for example. So, and I eat really boring. I was just talking to my daughter about this on the way over here, that I eat like the same thing over and over and over again. And, my wife's like, how can you eat the same thing? I'm like, because I know it's healthy, it's easy, right? It doesn't take a lot of time. Like there's a routine. It's just simple. Yeah. So, have you encountered that where others, where it's caused either strife or, struggle where your disciplines and they don't kind of line up or anything like that?
Haven't had a lot of trouble with that because, like I said, I'm a really I'm gonna do what I do, and I'm not gonna have an issue with it.
Yeah.
You either gonna have to get with it or get over it.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna have an issue with it. But at the same time, I know that you have to have a healthy balance in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that it's not about me. So like the example you gave, especially like with family, everybody don't eat the same in the family.
Mm-hmm.
And so like all of those things, like there's some things you have to sacrifice on some things, but still stay in alignment with what your core values are.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that that's the fun part of life, if you will, striving to go about those challenges on a day-to-day basis to where you're not just super rigid, but then also you hold to what you believe in, because I think somewhere in that line is the exciting part, because you learn new things about yourself. Like you stretch yourself. Well, maybe I'll try this, or oh, okay, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't try it, I don't know. I'm not gonna like it.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I haven't really had lots of pushback on things. I'm not like if it's something that I choose to do, I'm not gonna beat you over the head with
yeah, sure.
Like I just do this every day and you need to do this. That's not cool.
Yeah,
like,
me neither.
Yeah, you're your own person. Like I want you to experience, my son, or I want you to experience the ups and the downs and learn on your own, and experience the failures and learn how you're gonna react from that, and all of those things. And so I have my ways. I'm teaching you things. I'm showing you things, but it's up to you to choose to learn those things.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I guess everybody can take what they want from different situations and learn in different ways. So let's talk a little bit about purpose, because a big part of being a hero is you honor your purpose. So
yes.
what would you define as your purpose?
My purpose, when you say purpose, I think about mission. And my mission is I take care of people that take care of people. And I do that by providing them a heightened sense of awareness that they have already inside of them what they need to be successful, to influence and impact others, right? The big man made them, so that shows you right there that you're enough.
Yeah.
You don't have to go searching. You don't have to put other stuff in your body to make you superhuman. No, you have what you need.
Yeah.
You just have to figure out what that is and tap into it and put the dang work in to make it happen.
Yeah.
And it's that simple.
Yeah. Which goes back to the discipline, because most people don't want to put in the work.
Which goes back to discipline. Exactly.
Yeah. It seems like everyone, especially in today's world, they want the easy fix. They want to take a pill and I'm going to, lose 50 pounds. So I just have to take a pill. I don't have to work out. I don't have to eat right. I can do whatever, and it's all just easy. And unfortunately, I think society has made we've made so many comforts,
right.
So many comforts that, that people think that that's how it is in every area, that right. It can just be easy in every area. And, I'm all for hacks and things like that to streamline things, but there's always going to be work, and there's always going to be work involved.
I heard this other day too, this quote, choose hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you have a choice, whether on things to do, choose tough, choose hard. It's okay to do that, because on the other side of that tough, on the other side of that hard, on the other side of that getting comfortable with being uncomfortable is your maximum growth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true.
I mean, you think about the things, just me personally. So some of the things that have brought me the greatest joys in my life, some of the things that I have been truly excited about and proud of were the toughest things in my life too.
Yeah. Yeah.
College degree, bro, I had to put some work in. I got 2 of them. I had to put some work in. Playing college football. I thought them people was trying to kill me out there.
Gosh.
You know what I'm saying? All of those things. It's been the toughest things in my life. Growing up with a single parent, the toughest things in my life, but they've also been the biggest blessings. And I'll share. I'm an acronym guy. BBFBL. All right. Biggest blessings from biggest lessons.
Yeah.
Right. And so the biggest blessings come from
that too.
from the biggest lessons that you have to learn. So choose hard.
Yeah, I think if more people would choose hard, then the world would be a much better place. The world would be, there'd be a lot less anxiety, a lot less depression. I mean, people, if we could shrink time and show someone, okay, by going this route, this is what's going to happen, at this point in time. For example, you're smoking, right? You're smoking that pack a day. This is what's going to happen down here. But people don't think that long. They just think of what's immediately right now. Yeah. And that's where the choose hard, like, as I like to say, you're always going to have to pay the bill, right? You either pay the bill in discipline, like, okay, I'm not gonna smoke now, or you pay the bill in, lung cancer later on, right? So you always got to pay the bill. Yeah. At some point, it always comes due. It's just a matter of how. It's just a matter of, if you think this is hard or you think that's going to be hard. And usually, to your point, the later outcome is a million times harder. It's a million times worse. And you think like, oh, just choose this is so hard now, but no, it'd be like, it's easy to just not do that.
Hey, that took me back to a lesson that my mom taught me. It was cleaning something in the house, all right? And, she specifically said, boy, see, I told you about the boy. like, boy, if you're going to do something, do it right or don't waste your time.
Yeah.
And like that has stuck with me my whole life. Yeah. So, it's really like what you just said. Like, if you're going to choose to do something, just do it the right way. Yeah. The first time.
Yeah. I tell my kids that all the time, because I got it from my dad. He'd say, you do it right or you're going to have to do it again. So a little different twist. And if you do it again, that's twice as much time, twice as much work, twice as much effort. So
just do it right.
Just do it right the first time. Yeah. It's so silly. Well, let's move on to, I want to give honor to some of the different ways that you're engaging others in your mission. You have your YouTube channel. Yep. So share a little bit about, the Success Chronicles and what that's all about, so people can know and share.
So Chip Baker, the Success Chronicles, is a YouTube channel and podcast. And what I do is I just interview people from all walks of life and share their stories for positive inspiration and motivation. And so, I've been blessed to interview, my favorite author and, big time football players and entertainers and, people that we have seen on TV, like it's cool. But then also just everyday people that I feel that are disciplined, and just doing great things every day, because I think that we can all learn from one another. I think we don't have to get, blown up, like the person that you walk by every day, like you can learn something from that person. Yeah. And so that's what it is. And it's been great. It's been neat. Just positive inspiration and motivation.
How long have you been doing it for a while?
8 years.
8 years. Yeah. I'm barely past one on this podcast. 8 years.
Yeah, we talked about discipline now.
we said it takes discipline to do that for 8 years.
We talked about discipline.
Yeah. It took discipline to do it for a year. So to do 8, like, yes, for sure. And without even realizing it, you're checking off the box of the hero. You hit the R on ripples your message to spread positive change, because that's literally what your show is about. Yes. Your show like that. Your show is literally about that.
Yeah, that's why I said, I don't know if I'm a hero, but then you broke it down like, yeah, I'm a hero.
Change. We're going to need to get you a big H to put, or a big C for CB, CB to put on your shirt. Next time you come in with a CB shirt. So, so we'll make sure that's in the show notes. You can check out the Success Chronicles. You can check out the YouTube channel. That is super important. You mentioned, we both mentioned, you being a fourth generation educator, teacher, coach. So what was the inspiration to move from teaching, coaching, to move into, okay, now I'm going to, like in the let's say school sense of the world, to move to, okay, now I'm going to be a life coach. Now I'm going to be a podcast YouTuber. Like what was the inspiration for that?
Transferable skills.
Yeah.
I mean, like you think about, like, as I heard you say all of those things, like all of those things, I've done all of those things my whole life. I mean, every one of them and everything that I do. Yeah. Right. And so, as a coach, I'm an inspirational, motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Transformational.
Oh, so true.
I mean, like as in education, I have to be organized and do all of those things and teach life, make it relevant, life coach. I mean, so like all of those things I've done now, the whole technology, all that stuff. Like I haven't taken any communications classes or any classes on that stuff, but that was something that I learned on my own, asking people, that's like when we came in here, like I'm asking your setup, like I'm not asking like how you do it.
Setup.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just asking because I always like to learn, like, how you connect this, you got this to that, using this for that. Like I ask that because I'm an avid learner.
Yes.
Like I love learning. And so, every situation I get in, I strive to learn and be the best version of myself.
Yeah.
And so that's really how I got into it, is just transferable skills. And then I believe that opportunities bring opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So, people see me speak, to students, doing leadership stuff, to educators, to companies. Well, like companies are going to reach out for that as well.
Yeah.
And so that's all it's been. It's just been transferable skills, people thinking enough of me to give me opportunities. And I'm truly grateful for them.
Yeah. There's that humility again.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's gonna be there, man.
That humble and gratitude.
Yeah, I tell people I'm humble and hungry, right? Like I'm super humble because I'm grateful for every opportunity, like where I come from, the things that I've been blessed to do, achieve, and see. It blows me away every day, right? But then it also makes me hungry to achieve more because I show myself like it is possible.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
Like it is possible to do cool things, man.
Yeah.
And so I'm hungry as well, and I don't spell it HUNGRY. I spell it with like 4 O's.
Hungry.
I'm hungry, baby. Humble and hungry.
We'll put that in the show notes too. Let's put that all caps. Hungry.
Yeah, 4 O's.
4 O's. All right, make note of that. 4 O's. So what I heard is, there's a little bit of that discipline, right? There's a little bit of that learning, but one of the keys is, and I was just talking about this in a speech I was doing just a few days ago, is to be a constant learner. And I heard some stat that like 70% of people stopped learning at the age of 30.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's crazy to me, because then you don't get to experience all those things, beautiful things life has to offer.
Wow.
And, my wife, Tanya, she posts a lot on social media. She's big on that. Now we have to do it for our business, quite a bit for business and everything. And myself as well, obviously with iSpark Change. But I was always really, really private. But the more you post on social media, the more people are like, man, you're always doing different things. You're always like, someone's going to tell me, oh, you interviewed Chip and you're in a podcast. That was so cool. And I just see it as learning, as trying new things, as growing, like, to go and drive somewhere or try something new or do a new experience. Right. Like, why not? Like, God gave us this beautiful planet and all these things to try, like to go explore. So I get the feeling that you're the same way. Like when you talk about learning and everything, exploring.
For sure. And that's what I was talking about with the discipline piece. Like you want to have core things that you believe in, but don't be so rigid that you limit yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you limit yourself, you limit yourself. Mm-hmm. Right. And so, I'm a former O-line coach. And so there was a phrase that I would say to my guys, once you stop your feet, you're beat. Right.
Yeah.
So you got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Between the whistle, once you stop your feet, you beat. It's the same thing in life. If you stop your feet, if you stop learning, man, somebody just beats you and passed you up. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Right. Like once you stop learning, like there's always something out there that you can learn to grow and have self-improvement on. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that's the beauty of the journey, because there's always something that we can learn.
Yeah, always.
Yeah,
every day.
Always.
Every day. It sounds cliche, but I'll journal about, what I learned from the day and everything. And I have yet to not think of something. There's always been something, something that has come across. And and then it doesn't even have to be difficult. It can be super simple. Just, any little thing that you learn from that day, learn to, new website to go check out, whatever. I mean, just anything that's something that can benefit your growth. So in your journey, in every hero's journey, okay, since you're here, in every hero's journey, there's adversity. Okay, there is some adversity. It's not always going to be, peaches and cream or roses and rainbows. So talk about, some adversity that you faced along your journey, or, anything that you had to overcome that you learned from, you grew from, that you look back and say, you mentioned a couple things earlier, but something that, that stands out for you.
Sure, my life. Every day, like it's something. No, I think all of those things, and I'll just, share for example, I talked about, grew up with a single parent, raised in a small hometown, had some struggles in school as far as, things being tough as far as like math.
Yeah.
Struggled in math, getting outside my box, going to college to an environment that's nothing like where I grew up, meeting new people, leaving college, going into a career where it's like people that are, excellent. I mean, put into an environment where it's amazing. Like everybody's smart and great, and knows their content. I mean, it's amazing, right? And then having personal journeys, losing, 4 of my starting 5, passed within the last 13 years.
Wow.
My grandfather, dad, mom, grandmother, having those things happen, every 2 years, like back to back, those kind of things. And so all of those things, I could use as excuses and say, poor me.
Be the victim.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I could take all of those things and use them as learning lessons. And that's what I chose to do in my life, because I was raised with a single parent. And I always want to make sure I say this. Single parent, my father was in my life, but he was just in a different city or town. So I want to make sure I say that. Like a lot of times you think deadbeat dad. No, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
He was just in a different place. But still some challenges.
Sure.
So I could have said, single parent, well, I'm just going to grow up to be like that. Well, no, I chose to not do that.
Yeah.
I could have said, small town, I could have just said, just dealt with that and just been that. But I chose not to. I could, with the family members gone now, oh man, now I've got to be to family what those people were to me. And that's probably one of the toughest things that I've ever had to deal with, to go from seeing those people that have been giants and superheroes to me in my life to being where I really legit have to take care of them.
Yeah.
Change clothes, all of that, clean them. And so that's a huge hurt to your heart every day. It's a huge shift. But then you just dig deep and know that, and they poured into me and made me legit made me who I am. So I've got to do that. It's bigger than me.
Yeah.
And so having those things, those are just, I just kind of did a broad of the adversities, but then going back to BBFBL, the biggest lessons that come from those biggest lessons. Now I know I got to step up, man, and be responsible like they were.
Yeah.
I got to be a great father. I got to be a great husband. I got to be all of those things, which goes back to the journey that we talked about as far as being disciplined, which also jumps back in on, well, I told you all the hats I have, bro. I got to work on something every day to be the best version of myself. I cannot afford to not work to be better. I can't do that. Right? I don't have that luxury. Boy, get your butt up and go to work.
Yeah.
Chip, go to work, man. Figure it out. And so, those things are some of the adversities, but also have made it an exciting journey too.
So I got to tell everyone, and I'm going to tell Chip this too, what he just shared, I feel inspired. I feel very inspired by everything that you were saying because, and I don't say that lightly, but I say that everything that everybody said was right. Is that when you start talking, you're going to be inspired. But I think there's something that is, I think there's a lesson in, above the greater lesson in what Chip was talking about is learning from your journey and everything and taking all the adversities to grow. I think there's a little lesson in there that might have gotten lost in what you were saying. And tell me if you agree with this, Chip, that because I've been in the same situation, my father was my superhero and everything, and, watched him pass away and at the age of 96. And, after he was around my whole life, and our relationship changed over many years and stuff. And where you're saying, that's really difficult to watch them and have to go, them being from, on this pedestal to now you have to take care of them. But the lesson I see in that is that that's them passing the torch to you.
For sure.
That's them saying, okay, now it's your turn to be the superhero to the kids or the grandkids or the next generation. And now it's your time. Yeah. Now it's your time to do that.
And that's scary.
It is scary. It is scary.
And I think that's why it's so tough. I think that's why having to experience that is super hard. Because for one thing, you're trying to figure out situations to take care of them. Yeah. Make sure that, because you take pride in making sure that they're taken care of. Yes. And there's some things that you have to learn to do. And there comes some times where you just have to realize that as much as I want to, I can't take care of them by myself. Yeah. I have to hire some help or I have to figure out a situation to where, because I have to work, so I can't be there with them 24/7. And when I get off work, I'm on my way back over there, sleep over there, then go back to all of those things you have to adjust and do. But definitely there is a passing of the torch, especially as they get closer to going to be with the big man, and you start to hear stories from people, which I'm blessed. I've always heard stories from other people on how great my folks are. Yeah. And so, but just hearing more of, I remember this or this happened, and she did this for me. She didn't expect anything from it. I know she gave us this, and then we get home and we didn't have anything food or whatever. So just going above and beyond to give service, it gives you great pride. It reminds you to, it gives you the energy that you need to just continue to do it, to see it through the right way. But then it also, I agree with you, there is a passing of the torch. And I think I've said this in the interview maybe twice. My goal in what I do on a day-to-day basis is to make sure that I do something to make them proud. And that's what it's about for me. If my parents, my grandparents could see this interview, you know what I'm saying? I hope that it makes them proud with the things I've done and said to honor them.
I'd say, I don't want to speak for them, but I'd say you're doing a great job of honoring them, honoring their legacy, honoring what you learned from them and what you're, learned in your journey. So, so thank you for that. And I like to think that, they are watching and they're checking. They're looking over. They might not watch it on YouTube per se, but they got more direct access. Yeah,
my folks could have done YouTube.
My dad neither, although he did kind of get on the internet at the end. But anyways. So, as we come towards the end, there's a couple questions that I like to always ask all my guests on the iSpark Change podcast. And one of them is that our goal at iSpark Change is to positively impact 1 billion people over the next few years when we launch our social impact social media platform and through, this podcast and the work. And we can't do it alone. We need the help of impactful leaders, heroes like yourself to help show others the way. So many people feel like I once felt that they're too small to make a difference. Okay. And so I value your thoughts as a social impact hero. And so I want you to, peer into the iSpark Change crystal ball and look into the future. And what can the world become if everyone starts believing that they can impact our future? Everyone starts being more disciplined and constantly learning. What can the world become?
I think it'll become a peaceful place. A place where everybody shows love, everybody is respectful of one another. Everybody knows that there's beauty in our differences.
Yeah.
You know, like, just because you look different than me, like, that don't mean, like, I can learn something from you. Like, I want to know what your experience is because, like, I'm interested and intrigued because I can learn something from that.
Yeah.
And so I think it makes a place of that. And I'm glad you asked that question because really that's what I strive to do every day. Mm-hmm. I every day I seek to put in the work to make that happen every day. I'm intentional about that.
Yeah, and that's why you're on the show. That's why he's a social impact hero.
Let's go.
That's why he definitely, you checked off the O because you opened your heart to the world in this interview, and I know you do it on your show.
I love that
for sure. So, one final question is, in order to impact that 1 billion people, that I know it's going to be a string of actions, a string of learning, what I call the ripple effect. The ripple effect that, you do one thing and someone watches this and then they share with someone and they do that and they do that and, and it spreads. It spreads like that. So we've actually coined a term on the show we call a spark moment, which is that igniting moment that ignited the ripple effect. So it's where, someone impacted you in a way that changed you forever, or changed you in a big way, or you impacted someone else that changed them, and you don't always see those ripples, but maybe later on you find out about them. Maybe you hear about it later from someone you coached or something. So share an example of a ripple effect, either the you spark moment for you to someone else, or someone else to you, that comes to mind.
Man, can I do two?
You can do, absolutely. Okay. You're in person. You can do two or three.
So I want to share. The first one is something that heightened my awareness of how important my actions are each day. Mm-hmm. And then the second one was the appreciation for my actions.
Okay.
So the first one, growing up, I tell you, my mom was this is my favorite story to share, and I might smile a little bit when I say it. You've
been smiling the whole time.
I know. I just wanted to warn them, though.
You get extra smiley.
Yeah. So, man, growing up, I tell you, my mom, strict disciplinarian, had core common values, work hard, do right, treat people right, put yourself around the right people, those things. Mm-hmm. And I strive to do those things. I was made to do those things, right? I was made to do those things.
I love that.
And so what I didn't know is people around me saw that, right? I just know that I just put the work in and did my thing, right? My thing. I had my little league baseball coach, who was also my elementary school principal. Okay. Love that guy, man. I wanted to grow up and be just like him, right? Mr. McDaniel, love that guy. And what I didn't know is Mr. McDaniel saw that. So fast forward, I'm a broke college kid graduating from college. I applied for this job in Conroe Independent School District at a junior high here. And I didn't know that the principal at that school knew Mr. McDaniel.
Small world.
Right. This is where it gets good. So he calls him, hey, I got this Chip Baker kid here applying for a job at my school. Tell me a little bit about him. So Mr. McDaniel goes on and says, oh, man, he's a great guy. He's going to work hard. He's going to do things the right way. He's going to treat people right. Man, you should give him an opportunity. He'll be an asset to your team. And that principal gave me my very first teaching and coaching job.
Nice.
Off of the person that I was as a kid.
Yeah.
Hold on, man.
20 years later, whatever, right?
Wait a minute. Make sure y'all catch this. That principal gave me my very first teaching and coaching job off of the person that I was or strive to be as a young guy.
Yeah.
And what that means to me is that it's important to make sure that you're on point in each moment and treating people right and doing things the right way, because opportunities will bring you opportunities.
Yeah.
And so that launched me, spark moment, that sparked me into my career. Now I'm just finished 24 years in education, coached for 20 of those years. And so that was the kind of spark of that. But then now, fast forward, being on the other side of that career, I had a privilege to be invited to one of my former players' weddings.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Right. And so he made sure, Coach, make sure you're there. I want to make you, Coach, you coming, you know.
How old was he when you coached him?
Man, I had that guy. I started with him in elementary school because he would come. And this is funny how it all transpired, because in elementary school, he would come to our football camps. And his name was hard to pronounce. Mm-hmm. And nobody could say his name right. And I asked him, like, hey, man, how you say your name? And I told him, I took upon that challenge to make sure, hey, I'm going to learn how to say it. I'm going to make sure I say that the right way. And that was like when he was like 5th grade. Yeah. So that's where I want him, right? And so he grew up in our system, went to junior high, ended up coaching him in high school, ended up being one of my best power lifters that I had, football players. We developed a relationship, great family. When I got a job as a head coach, I was able to hire him on and do some things there.
Cool. Future spark moment for him.
I'm telling you. And so fast forward, now he's getting married, so I'm there. And, you know, we'd have intimate conversations and talks. And there, you know, you don't realize, like you say things and you do things, but you don't realize how much people take those things in.
Exactly.
Right. So I'm talking to him at his wedding, hugged him. He's like, Coach, man, thanks for being here. Love you, appreciate you. And like, you know, just having a conversation. And he said, you know, you said when you first got in this profession, you just want to make a difference, make sure you make a difference in the life of one. And he said, man, look at all those guys over there. So he had several guys from his teammates that I coached that was in the wedding or there at the wedding support. Like, look at all them guys over there. And you made an impact in every one of them guys' lives. And so, man, that's what it's about. Yeah. It's about that journey. It's about just be a good dude. Mm-hmm. You know, just do things the right way. Take care of people. People will see that and you'll get those opportunities. Don't worry about, you know, trying to take them, the opportunities. People will bring the opportunities to you because you're doing things the right way.
Always planning.
But then on the flip side of that is when you've done those things, you'll get the rewards from it too. Not that you're seeking to get rewards, but you'll get the rewards from that. And there's a lot of guys, young and ladies and people that I work with. I just tell you, they have been my biggest supporters with my books and my YouTube channel and podcast and speaking and all of that stuff. They've been my biggest supporters because I poured into them. Yeah. And at the time, I wasn't thinking about, I'm going to pour into them. So when I write a book, they're going to buy my books, you know. Yeah. Or when I have a YouTube channel, they're going to subscribe to my channel. You're like, I didn't do it for that. I just do it because that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Yeah. You're supposed to take care of people. Yeah. And so those were spark moments for me.
That may be, listeners, impact here. That may be the biggest multiple spark moment example we've ever had. It was like here to here to here, back to here to here, back to here. Like there was, I lost track of all the spark moments that are probably happening there, and we won't know. Because you'll fast forward another 10 years or 15 years or the future impact. So, you know, Chip, thank you for being on the show.
Yes, sir.
I said impactful in your intro, and you definitely were impactful today. Tons of things. I think we've had some, you know, magic moments in this episode to make magic memories for ourselves and hopefully spark moments for other people. We'll put the links, any other place where people would best connect with you, obviously the YouTube channel, but any other places?
Yeah. All of my social media is at Chip Baker, TSC, as in the Success Chronicles. Like gotcha. All of my social media is that, all platforms, except for Twitter, and Twitter is at Chip Baker 19.
All right. Well, all of those will be in the show notes. So you're going to want to rewind this back and listen to some of that wisdom and knowledge that Chip dropped in the episode. There definitely was a lot. So Chip, thanks for being on the show. It was a pleasure, my man. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right, Impact Heroes. It's our stories that connect us all. We loved hearing Chip's today. Chip Baker, you're not only an inspiring and incredible human being, you truly are an iSpark Change social impact hero.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you all next time.
Go get it.
Do you want Rick to speak at your event? Here's what others have to say.
Did not know his story, and it was so inspirational, and his presence on stage, his authenticity was just incredible.
Absolutely loved his performance. It made me feel some type of way.
If you're looking for a speaker for your next event, hire Rick. I promise you this, you will not be disappointed.
Visit rickornelis.com to book him today.
Remember, Impact Heroes, every positive action can be a spark moment that has a ripple effect that spreads far beyond the initial act. So go out there and spark change. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, then please smash that 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. We value your comments and we want to hear from you in the community. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and we'll see you next week on the iSpark Change Podcast.